Welcome to um we're happy to come your way again today. Although it's sad for me because the Chelsea boys just beat us, but hey, it's part of life. You need to make other people happier sometimes. Okay, so let's get straight to business and as usual, share the feed, let family and friends know that we are in. So let's share the feed. And it looks like the Arsenal guys are super excited, but we know how it will end at the end of the day. They will still bottle the league. Okay, so yeah, as usual, um, when you join us, let us know. Say a hello, say a hi, so we know you are with us. Thanks for joining us, Ogaki. And yeah, let's get going. So, um, Mr. Producer has given us the topic for the day, and it is how to break the cycle of resentment. I think, I mean, the reason I think it's a very important topic is it's something that is not usually discussed. It's not one of those common topics that you come across. So thank you, Sami, for the topic. Okay, so let's all get to the same page about what resentment is. So basically, I think the key word here we should take note of in the definition of resentment is that it's a lingering emotion, right? So it's an emotion that expresses anger, a feeling of injustice, or helplessness when it comes to someone, and so the difference between that and someone getting angry or feeling disrespected or whatever instantly is that resentment lingers, right? So it travels the course of time. And so this is one emotion or feeling that I think is very common amongst people who have been together for a while. So whether it's in a relationship or it's in a marriage and they've been together for a while, you are likely to find this sort of resentment there because there could be something that has caused one person to feel disrespected, to feel angry, to feel um, um, that something did not go their way, and that feeling could be lingering for a long while, and the danger is that it is um the foundation on which most decisions are taken, right? So say if someone wants to do something and then that feeling kicks in and then goes like, oh, the other day you did this, and so I'm not going to do A or I'm not going to do B, right? So it is, again, like I mentioned, it is very important that this gets discussed. um Prissy, I'll let you come in before we take it from here. Yeah. Yeah, Prissy, go ahead.
I'm still thinking about.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
So
if you have something
whilst
to say,
Prissy is
please.
still thinking about it, let's keep going. Now, usually you would ask, okay, why would this be something that exists in the first place? It is because sometimes a spouse does something to you and you feel like, okay, maybe let me not stress over it. Let me not talk about it. And most of the times we feel that we've gotten over such emotion, or we think that we've been able to overcome whatever happened in the past. But in reality, sometimes whatever it is that the person did for you to have that feeling doesn't easily go away, right? So you will think that, oh, you've forgotten about. That is why personally, I think that there are some things that are a no-no for married people, right? And one of them being like adultery or one person going out of the marriage and all marital infidelity. And this is why I don't, unless originally you did not really love the person, right? But if there is someone you really love with all your heart and all, I don't see how that person is able to go out of the marriage and you will not feel like, and you can easily say, okay, yeah, I let go. But and I don't know, again, I've been saying this over and over again, I don't know how people would be able to do that and say, oh, okay, I let go, and they will not at any point like remember it or feel a certain way just because of that. It might be what's the name? A mental dysfunction. If something of the sort can happen to you and you can easily just forget and say, let's move on. The only reason I see could make someone do that is if the other party is also involved in similar things, right? So let's say the woman um, goes to commit adultery and the man is also involved in committing adultery, then the man can easily say that, okay, yeah, I see, I forgive you. And I'm not in any way saying don't forgive people when they wrong you because we are human, so you would always wrong someone. What I'm saying is I don't see how people are able to let go so easily. You get it? So let's say it takes you however number of years to overcome, that's fine. But to just say in the spur of the moment, oh, okay, it's nothing, like let's move on, then I think there is something wrong. So usually what causes this resentment is you feel that okay, this is someone that I've been with for however long, and the person has done A or B against me, right? Or I've not been able, but I don't feel I've been well treated. And that party goes like, okay, yeah, I've forgiven you or I've forgotten about it. Sometimes that's actually the cause for this resentment because the person would not have had the opportunity to really forgive like the person thinks he or she has forgiven. So there would always be that lingering feeling there. And whatever happens in the future, the person would be still connecting dots to whatever happened in the past, right? So, um, in summary, what I'm saying is one key cause of this is when people really think they've gotten over something when in actual fact they've not gotten over it. Do you get it? Because again, eh, it's we are called to be forgiving people, right? We are called to be able to let go of things. The reality is that we have a memory slot in our brains, right? So unless you have a brain dysfunction, it's not like you forgive someone and immediately you just forget everything, right? So that can always kick in. I've been talking a lot. Let me make Prissy come in.
So, breaking the cycle of resentment. For me, I feel like even if you wanted to break the cycle, sometimes it's that lingering anger can can be broken also based on how the one who offended you behaves
Yeah.
in the relation. So let's say we have, even in friendship or relationship, somebody does something wrong against you,
Yeah.
and that has made you resent the person. but the one who offended you makes it look like they didn't do anything wrong, and they
Yeah.
still like try to do so. For instance, I had a personal issue with someone, and I got angry about the way the person behaved, so I decided to cut the person off. Then the person went around, like goes around trying to make me look like a bad person, and I hear that this person is actually going around telling lies about me. This resentment will rather linger on because in the first place, the person doesn't see what they've done wrong, like to make me hate them or make me get angry at what they've done, but rather adding like more and whatever. So definitely that resentment will linger on. So even in a relationship, if one person hurts the other, the way or manner in which the person acts after you hurt your partner would either cause the resentment to go down or to continue or to persist, right? And so I think that sometimes we can help our partner either break that cycle or um, cause it to linger on longer. Yeah, so I also believe that the one who hurts should also take. I have to forgive. Yes, I understand, but sometimes I see things that would make me even remember because I want to forget. I have forgiven. I want to forget, but you keep repeating the same thing or do things that would make me more angry. Then how am I helping you? Yeah, so I think that's
Yeah. So I think back to what you mentioned, my question there is so yes, someone has done something against you, you're trying to overcome it, you're trying to forgive the person, but it doesn't look like the person has any form of
remorse,
right? If you let your action be defined by how the person will behave, then it also leads to a situation where you'll be angry with 2 million people because a lot of people don't have brains, right? So if you want your
but there's someone you are staying with.
yes, correct,
So
correct. I get
it's
it.
either you like I'm grieving
Yes,
because of what you have done,
correct,
right?
correct.
And I have told you I've forgiven you,
Yeah,
but you keep repeating the same thing. It will be
absolutely,
hard. Then
absolutely.
it means that every time is a renewed anger,
Correct. And
right?
and that's valid. Whatever you are saying is valid. What I'm thinking through is that then like breaking that cycle becomes difficult
Yeah.
because going by what Prissy is saying, you will need to have someone who is remorseful about whatever has happened, right? To help you overcome your resentment or to help you break that cycle of resentment. But if it looks like the person is not making it any better, then it makes breaking that cycle difficult,
Yeah.
right? Because um, as it is, I don't think it is something you can also do just on your own, right? Because you might want to say that whatever I would do might not be dependent on the feedback or the signals I'm getting from the other person, but in reality it will fall back on that. So back to what I was saying earlier, then it means that it might be difficult for you to break resentment cycles, right? Because again, if the person you think has done wrong against you is not helping it, then that will be difficult. But I think I have one other thing to say in this regard. Um, it is again, we are humans, right? So you would always have a situation where someone will do something where you are not happy about and all, and it might linger on, blah blah blah. I think one good way to attack this or approach this is to pick up those discussions, right? Have an open discussion about it, and yeah, talk about it, figure it out. The only challenge is that, like I said earlier during my submission, there are things that you just don't want to bring up necessarily because um, it might open up a can of worms, and you think that, okay, you are rather protecting the relationship by not speaking about it. But sometimes, I mean, because of this topic of resentment, sometimes the best thing you have to do is actually to speak about it, right? Because that gives some form of closure, especially when you guys are able to get to the bottom of whatever the issue is. And in most cases, it's one way or the other, some misunderstanding. One person is seeing the thing from one angle, the other person is also seeing it from a different angle. But in reality, if you can really talk about it, understand each person's perspective, sometimes perspectives always don't make sense, right? But if you can at least hear the person out, then you know that, okay, it's not like the person was out there to do you harm, or the person was deliberately trying to do
But what
something
if the
to.
person deliberately, and in that moment,
Yes, so again,
did it deliberately?
again, in
How do
in
you?
talking about it, sometimes you get a sense of closure, because as you speak to someone about it, in fact, sometimes your kid will do something. You are so mad at the kid, but as you hear the genuineness in whatever the kid is trying to explain to you, it calms you down. If we compare this to someone not talking about it at all, what would happen is that one person will be having their own thoughts of what they thought the other person had done. Then the person who has done the thing is also having whatever explanations. I mean, they are explaining it away to themselves that, hey, what is it? I mean, it's because of ABC, right? So sometimes it is, if we can get to the point of having a good conversation about, okay, the, I I feel there's this lingering pain or lingering anger or whatever because of ABC. And sometimes, let me say this, sometimes even the person feeling the resentment, right? If you don't really sit down to have a good introspection, you might not even know what exactly it is.
Mhm.
You would just see your spouse or something and be angry, right? So, on the part of the one feeling the resentment as well, you would actually need to do a deep introspection and figure it out. And most people around here will go to a therapist to try to get to the bottom of it, because what they will try to do is to unpack all the feelings and try to narrow them down to specific situations. What is making you feel this way? What is making you blah blah blah, right? And to think about it, for people who are maybe married for 30 years or 40 years, or then you would ask yourself, is it that these people don't have any of such resentment? Because truth be told, if you keep on building your portfolio of resentment or things that you think have been there and have not been resolved, at a point the marriage will come crashing down. Hey, Mary, thanks for joining us. The marriage or relationship will definitely come crashing down, right? So I think that it is good to always attempt to unpack whatever it is. That is your best way out, because if you want to keep it, then it gets challenging. Now that brings me to another very key area, which is people's personalities, right? So sometimes you say these things and they appear very easy, but they are not. They are not. There are people who will naturally not talk. They would is life is better for them when they are quiet, when they mind their own business. If anything is worrying them, they just say, okay. And they might never address whatever the issue is. So again, that's why we always say that marriage is a lot of work, or relationships are a lot of work, right? So because you will need to get out of your natural disposition, your natural self, and become someone you are not, to ensure you don't brew a lot of trouble, right? So, for example, if you say, "Oh, as for me, I don't talk about things, I don't," you will need to learn to unlearn that. You will need to bring yourself to be able to bring things to the table, put everything there as it is, and then it gets discussed. Other than that, you would always have things that you've been maybe 5 years ago or something, and the bad side of it is that you might be carrying all these things and the other party even doesn't know about it, right? And what is living life and is going about his or her business, and you have things that are lingering in your mind. Pretty, I refer to you.
Yes, so like you said, the people, I think that people who are really quiet are also usually people don't take them seriously. Like you
Okay.
don't talk about things that are hurting you.
Mm-hmm.
Your spouse might feel like, okay, things when I do everything I do, it's okay by you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, that might not be the case.
Yeah.
You are hurting, but and so that person might keep on doing
Mm-hmm.
repeating it
Yeah.
without knowing that they are hurting you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so I believe in Kanewu. As and when it happens, address it there and then move on.
Right.
Yeah, because it's better than harboring all those things within, and then maybe one day it fills up and then you
Yeah.
explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just and I feel like once I say what I feel, I am free.
Yeah.
I can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is how I am. I'll just come and ask you, even if it's if it feels offensive, but I feel like I've let it out. You let me know why you are doing that, and then
Yeah.
we move on.
Yeah.
It's better than keeping things within, because there are people that you cannot blame for their actions. You think that they should know better, but it's just because you are not saying or coming out to say that I don't like what you're doing. That is why they continuously do that.
Right. Right. So I also think that expecting someone to know something without telling them is also a bit of foolishness, right? So think about it. You might have some exposure, right? You might have some experiences, right? That makes you know certain things. If your spouse, for example, is doing things unknowingly, why do you hold them to what they
Your
don't know?
standard.
Yeah, exactly, right. So it's always good to as it were, put things on the table and then get it discussed. It's because if we really go deep into this, you are feeling a certain way, and the person who is making you feel the certain way doesn't know you are feeling that way, because the person is not in the know that ABC that they do is causing you to feel that way, right? How how does the person, even if the person genuinely wants to change or genuinely wants to do something about it, how does the person do that, right? When they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So it it's always best to voice it out. It might not sound or come across as the most pleasant thing, but it's better to voice it out. That way, you are saving yourself from all the lingering pain and stuff. And people, would always, I find this to be how people escape it. And Mary is saying it's very true. I see that instead of voicing things out to their spouses, people rather find, should I call it, escape routes to go voice all those lingering anger and stuff. And so what they do is sometimes people get friends and they are the people they speak to, or they get external or extended family, and they keep on channeling all their anger and their frustration and everything instead of speaking
And
to
listen to
the
the
person
person
who can
to
actually
change something.
change something. And the bad part, and most of us listening to this now might be grown people, right? Might be above 18, and so you understand. Most people end up channeling.
Yeah.
So instead of speaking to your spouse, you would have a situation where someone goes and is talking to
Yeah,
the kids and saying, this is what your mom has done, or this is what your dad has done. I mean, that is how a blowout of resentment actually looks like, right? They kept it for a long time and just looking for an outlet. And then unfortunately, the kids become the outlet. And then it will look like people now try to politicize kids.
either you
Everyone
take your
is
mom's side.
trying to get people on
Yeah.
their sides, which is not healthy, right? Mary says that, please, what if the person is too proud? So, are you asking about the one who is feeling the resentment, or the one who is causing the problem? Yeah, if you could explain that, would attempt to.
I think that people, I think I want,
You understand what she's
yeah,
saying?
there are some people that they've hurt you, but they can never say sorry. You speak to them and
Yeah.
they would always, people call them narcissists
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay.
They would blame you for what they have
Whatever it
done.
is.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they are not used to saying sorry.
Right.
And so you see such a person as proud, then
Yeah.
it can even hurt you more because
Okay. So, Mary, I guess that's exactly what you mean. This is my answer to that. If someone has done something against you and the person is not willing to say sorry to you, and every time the person doesn't say sorry, it hurts you, who is a fool here? Think critically about it. The person has done wrong as per whatever has been caused, or as per your standards, or as per whatever. The person doesn't want to say sorry, and that hurts you.
no, so the person doesn't acknowledge that they are wrong, but would
Correct.
find a way of pushing the wrong to you. You cause them to
Exactly.
wrong.
Yes, there are people like that.
Yeah.
Clear. But to you, the one hurting, if you are waiting for the person to acknowledge their wrong before you check that one out of your heart, I think you are also on a part of buffoonery. Okay, Mary says, yeah, that's what she means. So I think you're also on a part of buffoonery, because think about it. See, a lot of people, and as we grow, those are some of the lessons we come to learn. A lot of people will do things against you, either, and you ask yourself, like, what exactly is the person thinking? If you want all those people to come apologize or acknowledge they are wrong before you move on, you might not move on yourself. So I am not saying those people are right. What I'm saying is people should find ways to um move on. I, there was someone I was trying to point something to, okay, for the person to acknowledge his wrong. The person told me that, but in whatever situation he was, that's the best he could have done. What do I expect him to do? If I will live my life waiting for such a person to acknowledge wrong, it wouldn't happen, right? So again, in discussing this whole resentment thing, yes, someone would have done something against you that would make you keep that anger lingering and so on and so forth for years. You feel disrespected, you feel you've been treated unjustly, and so on and so forth. We thank God if you have someone who would acknowledge that after you bring it on board to be discussed. That's fine. Thanks for joining us, Courage. That's fine. That's good. That's a good one. We thank God. But if you don't have someone who is willing to come to the table, you can live your life also bagging wrongs. Like you, okay, today I have 3 bags of wrong. The next day, okay, I have 5 now. I mean, you have to move on, right? So it's a two-way street. So in summary, um if you feel that in your relationship, in your marriage, you have things that have hurt you in the past, and when you see your spouse, if you had your way, like you give him a slap or something, then you will need to, like we mentioned earlier, first of all, do a good introspection, understand where and what time or whatever caused you to be in that situation. Now, when you are able to understand all that or figure it out, discuss it with your partner, and hopefully, you would get some redress from there. If you don't, then learn how to say, okay, let me check it out, and then move on. I'm not saying move on as in leave the marriage or something, but move on. This looks like something that my partner is also adamant about, whatever his perspectives are. So
that's why I like sometimes one person has to be a fool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
You assume that.
Yeah.
But if you all want to be two wise people in
Yeah.
the marriage,
It wouldn't work.
it would be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are already out of time. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Dear Van. Again, to all the Chelsea fans, enjoy it. To all the Arsenal fans who think that they are winning the league because we lost today, there goes the delusion again. We'll come your way again next week with yet another episode. Always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thanks, cheers, and bye for now.